What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. And I just had the pleasure of watching the first 2 episodes of Ms. Marvel, and this is a spoiler-free review. I'll talk about my impressions, my thoughts, and some things that you should be excited for when the series does finally drop here in just a little bit. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our other major movie and television news updates happening here on the channel. You can also check me out on Instagram and Twitter. The links are in the description down below, and you can see the handles right here and here and here and here and here. So feel free to check those out as well. Alright, let's talk Ms. Marvel. Now, this one is an interesting one. Right out of the bat, it seems like out of all of the Disney Plus projects we've gotten from Marvel, whether it's been Moon Knight, Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even Hawkeye, this is one that I've kind of gotten the vibe from the fan base on Twitter, on the YouTube channel, all over, people are less excited for. Now, that could be because it is a relatively unknown character. However, I would argue Moon Knight wasn't a very well-known character either, and everybody was very excited and continued to love the series when it came out. It's difficult when Marvel tries to drop a new title character who's never been heard before, and we get their origin story of sorts, and we find out who they are, and then hopefully they become adapted later on into the MCU on the big screen, which we're expecting to happen with Ms. Marvel when the Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels, comes out. Presumably it will be starring Captain Marvel, of course, Monica Rambeau, and Ms. Marvel, who we're introduced to in this series. Now, the reason for the lack of excitement might just be because nobody really knows what to expect. However, I will say it was more interesting than even I anticipated, and I'm going into it with a pretty good mindset. I'm not a hypercritical YouTuber. I am not sitting here breaking down what's the problem. I look to enjoy these series, and I look to enjoy whatever Marvel's creating for us. I'm a very easy to please individual. But this series has a cool fusion, a cool connection of old Marvel and new Marvel. A lot of Phase 4 has been what's Marvel's new plan. Look at Multiverse of Madness. It was a completely different feel than anything we've seen in Marvel before. And even look at Moon Knight. Look at Loki. Look at WandaVision. Not only are they different from what Marvel's given us in the first 10 years with the Infinity Saga, they're completely different from each other. Each one varying in its way of communicating the story or the cinematography, the effects, the seriousness, the jokes, the darkness. Each of them have their own footing. And this is exactly the same with Ms. Marvel. However, some of that footing is reminiscent of older Marvel days, pre-blip, when there was a lot of different type of connecting pieces. It's something in Phase 4 we've seen less and less of. Moon Knight doesn't mention the existence of the MCU at all, minus one Madripoor reference. Even though Hawkeye is a core member of the Avengers, they rarely talk about any other events other than, obviously, Black Widow, and him during the blip years when he was Ronin. And this goes on for all of the stories and all of the characters. There are very small and light connections. Whereas in this one we see a young superhero fan, a girl who loves the idea of superheroes, and we get a lot of fun connections through that. So that's something that actually I think a lot of people will enjoy. It has a reminiscent feeling, but at the same time it exists on its own. It's new, it's different. It's something that Marvel's doing to continue the Phase 4 ideology of being fresh and standing alone. A lot of questions that people always ask for any Disney Plus series, not even Ms. Marvel specifically, is what about cameos? Who's going to show up? And so far we've seen across the board not many cameos outside of the main story. In Moon Knight we got the characters that pertain to Moon Knight. In Loki, same thing. WandaVision, same thing. We didn't get all of these big reveals that people are talking about, which is something we would expect Marvel to do. So what's going to come in the future of Ms. Marvel, the following episodes past the first 2? It's hard to say, but my assumption is it's going to stick to Ms. Marvel. That's what the show's about. That's who the show is introducing to the MCU. The MCU has changed. It doesn't do the fast-paced singular line with a little bit of weaving this way, a little bit of weaving this way, and then pulling it all together for the Infinity Saga finale. Phase 4, post-blip, has started dropping seeds. Little things that are all over and spread out, that are rooting, and from there are growing forward, which hopefully can culminate into one awesome project. It is going slow, and a lot of people aren't too happy about it. A lot of people are saying that Marvel's fallen off, that they've lost their footing, they've lost their way, they're just throwing projects at the wall to see what sticks. But I get the feeling from this project we are continuing the seed storyline. The drop a little here, wait for it to grow. The drop a little here, wait for it to grow. And all of this is leading to something big. We've learned that in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, who has shown us there's a lot coming our way. Now, should you enjoy it? What should you expect from Ms. Marvel? Because obviously you're here to hear about it. You want to know whether or not it's worth your time to watch. Of course, with all Marvel projects, I would say yes, it is worth your time. There are going to be important implications moving forward. This already, as we are aware, will be connecting directly to the Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels. There's going to be information you're going to want to know moving forward. But even more so than moving forward, I think it gives us a really cool perspective of the now. What is it like to be a normal human, a civilian, living in Earth 616, as we were explained to in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? It's a perspective you don't really get to see too often. The life of a civilian, the life of a normal person. Of course, Ms. Marvel starts off with the main character having no powers at all. And we're going to see what it's like to be a normal high school student. In fact, this series really aged me a lot, as I don't really know what it's like to be in high school anymore as a human being. I went to high school several years ago, and things have changed with the social media developments, with people kind of gaining influence on TikTok and Instagram, people having over, 500,000 followers. That wasn't quite a thing when I was younger, when I was in high school. So it's a new perspective for one, just being a kid in high school dealing with modern day problems, and two, being a kid in a world where superheroes exist, where people all disappeared, where at any minute the entire Earth could be in danger of dying because, hey look, there's an alien living inside the middle of the planet. Stuff like that, we get a really, really cool perspective of. So I'm excited for that, for you guys to see, for you to get that kind of point of view of what is it like to be a normal person. And then of course the superhero stuff starts happening, and you guys are going to be excited for that as well, as we continue to learn more about the expanding Phase 4 MCU. I mentioned it on the channel already, I'm not really a hypercritical critic. I'm not even really a critic at all. I'm just a super fan who talks about this stuff online, and I'm always relatively easy to please. The aspects about this series that I like the most are the new feel, which has a hybrid feel with the old feel, a post-blip and early Marvel stays feeling, and I really, really enjoy that as well. And I'm excited to see a new character, a new perspective, a new idea, a new what is happening with Marvel next. Now, there's only been 2 episodes that have been released to the media, so we're still waiting to see where this story will take us. I'm not going to tell you it's the best or the coolest series ever, because quite frankly, 1, I don't think it will be, and 2, I haven't gotten enough information to state that. But I think it's going to be worth a watch. It's going to be fun to have the watch parties, to have you guys all here sharing those moments as we learn more about the ever-changing MCU. Of course, Thor Love and Thunder also coming out just around the corner. Don't forget Black Panther Wakanda Forever's coming out. And we have many, many other projects still to come in 2022, and not to mention those coming even further down the road. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is this a series that you plan on watching? Do you plan on joining me for the watch parties? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our daily uploads happening here on Cosmic Culture.